father of cybernetics Norbert Wiener's letter to UAW President Walter Reuther. 1949 letter from a leading scientist to the head of the American Auto Workers Union warning him about new technology and the negative impact it would have on manufacturing workers. South Tamworth, August 13, 1949. Walter Reuther, Union of Automobile Workers, Detroit, Michigan. Dear Mr. Reuther, first, I should like to explain who I am. I am Professor of Mathematics at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and I am the author of the recently published book, Cybernetics. As you will see, if you know of this book, I have been interested for a long time in the problem of automatic machinery and its social consequences. These consequences seem to me so great that I have made repeated attempts to get in touch with the labor union movement, and to try to acquaint them with what may be expected of automatic machinery in the near future. This situation has been brought to a head by the fact that I have been approached recently by one of the leading industrial corporations with a view to advising them as to whether to go into the problem of making servo mechanisms, that is, artificial control mechanisms, as part of their extended program. Technically, I have no doubt what direction my advice should take. My technical advice would be to construct an inexpensive small-scale, high-speed computing machine, together with adequate apparatus for putting the readings of photoelectric cells, thermometers, and other instruments into the machine as numerical data, and for putting numerical output data into the motion of shafts and other output apparatus. The position of these output shafts should be monitored by proper sense organs, and be put back into the machine as part of the information on which it is to work. The detailed development of the machine for particular industrial purpose is a very skilled task, but not a mechanical task. It is done by what is called taping the machine in the proper way, much as present computing machines are taped. This apparatus is extremely flexible, and susceptible to mass production, and will undoubtedly lead to the factory without employees, as for example, the automatic automobile assembly line. In the hands of the present industrial setup, the unemployment produced by such plants can only be disastrous. I would give a guess that a critical situation is bound to arise under any condition in some 10 to 20 years, but that if war should make the replacement of labor mobilized into the services an immediate necessity, we should probably have a concentrated effort put into this work which might well lead to large-scale industrial unemployment within 2 years. I do not wish personally to be responsible for any such state of affairs. I have, therefore, turned down unconditionally the request of the industrial company which has tried to consult me. However, it is manifestly not enough to take a negative attitude on this. If I do not put this information in the hands of the industrialists, it is merely a question of time when so obvious a method of procedure will be urged upon them by other people. Therefore, the procedure which I shall follow depends finally upon whether I can get you and the labor interests you represent to pay serious attention to this serious situation. I have tried to do this in the past without success, and I do not blame you people for it, but since then there has been a turnover in personnel among you, and the present group of labor leaders seem to have transcended the point of view of the shop to a sufficient extent to make it worthwhile for me to make an appeal to you again. What I am proposing is this. First, that you show a sufficient interest in the very pressing menace of the large-scale replacement of labor by machine on the level not of energy, but of judgment, to be willing to formulate a policy towards this problem. In particular, I do not think it would be at all foolish for you to steal a march upon the existing industrial corporations in this matter, and while taking a part in production of such machines to secure the profits in them to an organization dedicated to the benefit of labor. It may be, on the other hand, that you think the complete suppression, of these ideas is in order. In either case, I am willing to back you loyally, and without any demand or request for personal returns in what I consider will be a matter of public policy. I wish to warn you, however, that my own passiveness in this matter will not, on the face of it, produce a passiveness in other people who may come by the same ideas, and that these ideas are very much in the air. If you determine that the matter does not deserve your serious consideration, you will leave me in a very difficult position. I do not wish to contribute in any way to selling labor down the river, and I am quite aware that any labor, which is in competition with slave labor, whether the slaves are human or mechanical, must accept the conditions of work of slave labor. For me merely to remain aloof is to make sure that the development of these ideas will go into other hands which will probably be much less friendly to organized labor. Under these circumstances, I should probably have to try to find some industrial group with as liberal and honest a labor policy as possible and put my ideas in their hands. I must confess, however, that I know of no group what has at the same time a sufficient honesty of purpose to be entrusted with these developments, and a sufficiently firm economic and social position to be able to hold these results substantially in their own hands. I have a book, The Human Use of Human Beings, which will be forthcoming with Houghton Mifflin next spring, which will bring these ideas to a head. If you so wish, I shall send you copies of the relevant chapters. Naturally, I do not expect you to take these matters on my momentary say-so. If you show sufficient interest to be willing to push the matter further, I shall be glad to put my ideas both technical and social at your disposal, so that you will be able to judge them better. Sincerely yours, Norbert Wiener, Department of Mathematics, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Cambridge 39, Massachusetts.